You back to Black Side, and tonight we're going to talk about over 14 million workers facing losing unemployment benefits and also rental benefits at the end of December. First, could you please subscribe to this channel and also hit that like button? We have a crisis on our hands with 14 million people losing unemployment benefits and rental assistance. The United States government has failed to step forward and help those who happen to be in crisis. We know they had negotiations going on between Nancy Pelosi and Steve Mnuchin over at the Treasury. But Nancy Pelosi decided right before the election that she would not cut a deal with Steve Mnuchin and President Trump, because she said in her own mind that if we pass another stimulus package before the election, President Trump might get credit for it. So she decided at that period of time to make the American people possibly suffer not having money after Christmas and not being able to pay their rent. If you think I'm lying, go watch what happened in the Democrat caucus of all those people who lost their seats in Congress as Democrats. Something happened that is extremely strange. They say Joe Biden got 80 million votes, but he had no coattails. This has never happened in history. Joe Biden got 80 million votes, but usually if you win an election, you have coattails. That means you get extra members of Congress. That means the extra members in the Senate. But reverse happened. They lost seats. And many of them complained that Nancy Pelosi refused to pass a stimulus package because people needed that money. And now that you see all across America right now, when you cut on your TV, you can go on YouTube and go to different cities of people standing in line miles long trying to get food for their families because they don't have enough discretionary income to feed their families. And this is what happens when you have people who are more involved, more about politics than the American people. And it actually backfired on Nancy Pelosi because she's lucky they're only a few seats away from losing the House of Representatives. Now, these people may have to wait until Joe Biden is inaugurated on January 20th. That means he has to set up right away, start negotiating with Mitch McConnell and the Republicans if they don't win those 2 seats in Georgia about a stimulus package. And we don't know how long those negotiations are going to take. So you're talking about it could be taking a week, could 2, could be 3 weeks. Then you have to wait until they can get the benefits out, which takes another 2 or 3 weeks. So you're possibly talking about people not getting help until March 2021. Luckily, we have something called tax time where people can get their tax refunds, and that may be able to help them get by during January and February. But this has happened when we put politics in front of humanity, and that's what Nancy has done. President Trump said he would have signed a bill, a skinny bill, that would have kept unemployment benefits going, that would have kept rental assistance going, but wouldn't have had all that other nonsense that they could have could have negotiated next year during the Biden administration. But she refused to do that. And I wonder where that came from, because Joe Biden had a chance to tell Nancy, negotiate the deal, but he didn't. So now people will suffer all around the country. And you will see food banks across the nation run out of food, because a lot of these places just don't have enough for everyone who needs something. In a lot of these states that get out unemployment benefits, especially in the South, Some of these people only get $200-300 a week. You can't live off of that. Buy food, pay rental, pay mortgage. And this affects the rest of the economy, because if you can't pay your rental assistance, the person who's renting the house, renting the apartment, they may still have a mortgage on that. So they still have to pay the bank. So this is another excuse me, an unintended consequence of them not getting unemployment benefits to people across the country. And that extra money that they used to get, that $400, that $600 that they were getting, and now that they don't get, it's hurting every family across the nation. We're getting ready to go into what I would call people in America going into extreme poverty. And we're talking about not only people who didn't have anything, we're talking about people who lived a middle class life or lower middle class life going down into poverty levels where they may have to go down there and file for food stamps. But you know how food stamps regulations are. If you own any property, if you own any vehicles, if you own this, depending on what state you are, you may not be eligible to get food stamps. So this whole thing that you see right now is pathetic. And it didn't need to happen. But it's happening in America. We're going to have to understand that we're going to have to stop people playing politics with people's lives. People got children. And people are spending more money. And people, when you have schools shut down and you have virtual learning, parents have to have extra food in the house. Remember, when you have a child go to school 5 days a week, they get lunch, they get breakfast, they get a snack. Some of them go to the after school program. So think about how many less dollars you have to spend on feeding your kids, because they're being fed by the educational system with your tax dollars, of course. But now that child is home every day. So you have to feed them lunch, breakfast, a snack, and that comes out of your discretionary income. So you're talking about taking maybe an extra $100 out of your food bill. This is why you see these white folks that you ain't never thought that you would see before at the food bank, because they don't have no food. And this is because we have a government that cares more about power than helping the people. We're going to have to understand this. That government is not going to be there when the crisis get really bad, especially for African Americans. We may have to depend on each other. And sometimes that makes a community stronger. Other groups depend on each other. When it comes to food, when it comes to helping each other during tough times, we're going to have to do that. Because this shouldn't be happening. So we'll see how long it'll take before Joe Biden could put together a comprehensive package, possibly with Mitch McConnell and Nancy Pelosi. But I'm telling you, if he comes up with a huge package like the HEROES plan, it's not going to pass. But one thing Joe Biden got as president, he could tell Nancy Pelosi, you will pass this bill. And she will capitulate to Joe Biden. Because this is going to have to be a bill that is rushed so people can get those dollars that they needed. Because people needed those $1,200. And hopefully they get more in the new stimulus package. I want to thank you for listening to Black Site. I hope you subscribe to this channel. smash that like button, and also share this video.